Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, revealed a shocking truth. Real love doesn't always cling. It sometimes retreats. Behind every unexplained silence, every moment of emotional withdrawal, lies a hidden battle within the psyche. When love strikes too deep, it awakens buried fears, unconscious wounds, and the shadow self, the parts of us we've spent a lifetime avoiding. So why do people who genuinely care need space? Why does intimacy trigger fear instead of comfort? The answer isn't in their words. It's in the invisible dance of the human soul. If you've ever felt abandoned by someone who loves you, keep watching. What you're about to discover will change how you see love and silence forever. Love's greatest contradiction: the deeper the connection, the stronger the urge to pull away. Imagine this. One moment, you're drowning in their presence. The next, met with silence so loud it echoes. Your mind races. Was it something I said? Do they not feel the same? But here's the raw truth few dare to admit. True love terrifies before it liberates. When someone withdraws after intimacy, it's not indifference, it's instinct. Like a wild animal stepping back from something too beautiful to trust. Jung saw this dance firsthand. The closer two souls become, the more their shadows rise. Those buried fears of abandonment, unworthiness, or loss of control. That sudden distance, it's not the end. It's the psyche's desperate attempt to say, I need to breathe before I drown in you. And this is just the beginning. Because beneath this paradox lies an even darker truth about how love transforms us, whether we're ready or not. That moment of retreat we just uncovered, it's not random, it's rebellion. A rebellion staged by the darkest, most neglected corners of the psyche. Jung called this the shadow, the exiled parts of ourselves we've locked away, our shame, our childhood wounds, the traits we deny but still carry like phantom limbs. Here's what no one tells you about love. The right person doesn't just accept you, they expose you to yourself. When someone truly sees you, their presence becomes a merciless mirror. Suddenly, that deep-seated fear of abandonment from your father's absence surfaces. Those insecurities you mastered hiding at parties come roaring back. The shadow, once comfortably buried, now claws its way into daylight, and the psyche panics. This is why lovers withdraw, not from each other, but from the terrifying self-reckoning intimacy demands. Consider this brutal truth. The more someone triggers your shadow, the more profoundly they're meant for you. That partner who makes you feel too much, they're revealing where you've been told to shrink. The one who ignites your jealousy, they're pointing to your disowned power. Every argument, every tearful night, every sudden need for space, it's not the relationship failing, it's the shadow begging to be integrated. Jung warned, we either face our shadows or remain forever haunted by them. Love simply forces the choice. But here's the alchemy. When two people brave this descent together, when they stop blaming and start excavating, something miraculous happens. The very wounds that push them apart become sacred ground for meeting. The shadow, once a source of fear, transforms into the relationship's greatest teacher. And this is where most couples fail. Not because love died, but because the work scared them. Pause. Let the weight settle. Now ask yourself, is your partner's withdrawal a threat or an invitation to finally meet yourself? That shadow work we just exposed? It's only half the story. Because here's what Jung really understood about the human psyche. It operates like a pendulum, constantly seeking equilibrium between opposing forces, love and fear, closeness and space, surrender and selfhood. When the weight of intimacy becomes too heavy, when shadows emerge and emotions overwhelm, the mind does something extraordinary. It instinctively creates distance, not to destroy the connection, but to preserve it. Think of your deepest relationships. Recall those moments when, after days of intense closeness, you suddenly craved solitude, or when your partner, seemingly out of nowhere, needed time to think. This isn't abandonment. It's the psyche's ancient wisdom at work. Like a forest after a wildfire, relationships need fallow periods to regenerate. Jung revealed our psyches contain what he called compensatory mechanisms. When love's fire burns too hot, the unconscious mind steps in like a thermostat, cooling things down before the circuit fries. That text left unanswered? That weekend they spent alone? These aren't signs of fading love, but of love maturing, making space for both individuals to breathe, process, and return stronger. The modern world misunderstands this completely. We've been sold a lie that true love means constant contact, perpetual validation, 24/7 entanglement. But Jung's research proves the opposite. The healthiest relationships oscillate like lungs, expanding in intimacy, contracting in reflection, in an endless dance of discovery. This explains why soulmates often trigger each other's deepest fears before healing them. Why the most transformative relationships feel chaotic before finding their rhythm. The tension isn't a flaw, it's the friction needed for growth. So next time your partner withdraws, ask yourself, is this truly distance? Or is it the sacred pause where love reinvents itself? That sacred pause we just discovered? It contains a secret most couples never learn to decipher. In a world addicted to constant communication, we've forgotten an ancient truth. The deepest connections live in the spaces between words. Jung uncovered a radical concept, what he called the transcendent function of silence. When two souls share profound intimacy, their unconscious minds continue communicating even in absence. That unexplained tension you feel during quiet moments? The strange synchronicity when you think of them just before they text? This isn't coincidence, it's the invisible dialogue of intertwined psyches. Consider this paradox. The healthiest couples often experience what looks like emotional radio static, those stretches of quiet misinterpreted as drifting apart. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is occurring. Like trees in a forest connected through underground fungal networks, lovers in silence are actually engaged in the most vulnerable form of communication, souls whispering through the roots of their shared unconscious. Modern relationships crumble under this silence because we mistake it for emptiness. We panic text, demand explanations, force conversations, missing the crucial truth. Real understanding requires no words. That partner who withdraws after intimacy isn't rejecting you. They're speaking in the mother tongue of the psyche, a language of symbols, dreams, and charged stillness. Jung's patients revealed this phenomenon repeatedly. The healing breakthroughs never came during forced discussions, but in those pregnant pauses between sessions, when the unconscious had space to rearrange the puzzle pieces. Your relationship operates on the same principle. The next time you encounter silence, resist the urge to fill it. Instead, listen to what it's trying to say. That space between you isn't a void. It's the womb where the next phase of your connection is quietly forming. That profound silence we just explored, it's often the calm before the psychological storm. Because when the unconscious finishes its silent work, it delivers a shocking revelation, one that sends most lovers running. The traits that frustrate you and your partner are actually your own disowned shadows, staring back at you. Jung discovered a brutal truth about intimacy. We don't fall in love with people, we fall in love with mirrors. That partner who seems suddenly distant, you might be witnessing their unconscious recoil from seeing themselves too clearly in your eyes. Here's how it works. When connection deepens, we unconsciously project our hidden selves onto our partners. Our abandoned dreams become their ambitions. Our repressed anger becomes their temper. Our stifled creativity becomes their passion. This is why early love feels magical. We're finally seeing our complete self reflected in another. But when the projection cracks, panic sets in. That moment when you realize, they're not me. The withdrawal that follows isn't about losing love. It's about facing the terrifying gap between who we imagined they were and who they actually are. This explains why the most intense attractions often trigger the most sudden withdrawals. That partner who once adored your spontaneity now calls it recklessness. They're confronting their own buried desire for freedom. The one who praised your sensitivity now claims you're too emotional. They're battling their own denied vulnerability. Jung called this the projection trap, the inevitable moment when love stops being a fantasy and becomes a confrontation with truth. But here's the secret. This painful awakening isn't the end of love. It's the only path to real love. Because when we stop running from these reflections, something miraculous happens. We begin retrieving our projections, taking back our disowned parts, until we can finally see and love our partner as they truly are. That moment of shattered projections we just witnessed. It's not a modern accident. It's an ancient ritual written into the code of human connection. Jung uncovered a startling truth. Your love life follows mythical patterns older than civilization itself. Hidden beneath your relationship surface, archetypal forces are at work. The lover, the hero, the wounded healer, each taking turns to guide your bond through its necessary evolutions. When your partner withdraws after intimacy, they might simply be obeying an ancient script their unconscious recognizes, but their mind can't explain. Consider this revelation. The push-pull dynamic you thought was unique to your relationship, it's actually the separation phase found in every great love myth across cultures. From Orpheus turning to look at Eurydice to Inanna descending to the underworld, these stories survive because they mirror the psychological journey all profound connections must undergo. Your partner's sudden distance often coincides with archetypal transitions. The shift from lover, idealization, to warrior, boundary setting. The terrifying moment when the child archetype yields to the sovereign, mature love. The call of the wanderer archetype, that primal need to leave before one can truly return. This explains why the deepest relationships feel both intensely personal and strangely familiar, like reliving a story you've always known but can't quite remember. You're not just navigating your partner's emotions, you're dancing with centuries of accumulated human experience. Jung's most radical insight? These archetypes don't just cause turmoil, they provide the exact trials needed for your love's initiation. That painful withdrawal phase, it's the psyche's way of ensuring you earn the relationship's next level. Those ancient archetypes we just uncovered, they reveal a truth that modern relationships desperately need to hear. Real love breathes. In our era of endless texting and relationship highlight reels, we've confused suffocation for security, mistaking constant presence for authentic connection. Jung exposed this cultural lie with clinical precision. The healthiest relationships mirror nature's wisdom. Tides that retreat to return stronger, trees that shed leaves to conserve energy, volcanoes that must release pressure to avoid catastrophic explosions. Your partner's need for space isn't a failure of your bond. It's proof your relationship has graduated beyond the superficial. Consider this revolutionary perspective. The very moments society labels as drifting apart are often when the deepest psychological work occurs. That weekend they spend alone, they might be integrating the parts of themselves that will later love you more completely. That conversation you didn't force, it could be creating the exact emotional distance needed for fresh desire to grow. Modern love suffers from what Jung called participation mystique, the dangerous illusion the two people should merge completely. But here's what the archetypes know that we've forgotten. The lover archetype requires absence to fuel longing. The sage archetype demands solitude for wisdom. The sovereign must occasionally rule alone to lead together. Your relationship isn't failing when it breathes, it's evolving. Those natural pauses are where individual growth occurs, ensuring you don't just stay together, but grow together. That breathing space we just honored, it's the silent rhythm of love's most ancient dance. Jung didn't just study relationships, he decoded their cosmic choreography, revealing how every step back is actually part of love's forward motion. Here's the radical truth your heart has always sensed. True love isn't a fusion, it's a celestial waltz, where two souls orbit each other in perfect tension, close enough to feel the warmth, far enough to maintain their gravitational pull. The modern obsession with constant contact has blinded us to this eternal truth. Distance isn't the enemy of love, it's the canvas on which love paints its masterpiece. Consider the profound paradox. The healthiest couples develop what Jung called psychological elasticity, the ability to stretch apart without breaking the connection. Like twin stars sharing an invisible bond, they understand. The retreat makes the reunion sacred. The silence gives voice to deeper truths. The individual journey enriches the shared path. This explains why soulmate relationships often defy conventional logic, why they withstand separations that would destroy weaker bonds. They're not following modern relationship rules, they're moving to an older, wiser rhythm written in our collective unconscious. Your partner's occasional withdrawal isn't abandonment. It's the dance requiring space between steps. Those moments when you orbit separately aren't relationship failures. They're the universe's way of ensuring you both keep your authentic light before coming home to each other. That celestial dance we just witnessed, it holds one final life-changing secret. As we stand at the edge of this psychological journey, Jung leaves us with a question that will redefine how you love forever. What if the moments that hurt the most are actually love's most sacred gifts? The painful truth no relationship guru will tell you. Love doesn't promise constant warmth. Like the ocean that must retreat to gather its waves, like the phoenix that must burn to be reborn. Real love demands these cycles of closeness and separation, not despite its depth, but because of it. Consider this revelation. Every time your partner walked away, they were secretly teaching you how to love yourself. Every silent moment wasn't emptiness. It was the universe holding space for you to remember who you are outside the we. The archetypes, the shadows, the projections, they were all master instructors in disguise. Here's what the healthiest couples understand that others don't. Withdrawal is love's quality control. It ensures you're together for the right reasons. Silence is the refiner's fire that burns away neediness to reveal true devotion. Distance is the sacred ground where two wholes choose each other again and again. This is why soulmates survive what destroys other relationships. They recognize the dance. They know winter prepares the soil for spring, that darkness makes stars visible, that sometimes love's most powerful declaration is respectful space. So as we close, ask yourself, have you been fearing the natural rhythms of love, or have you been missing their profound wisdom? The answer will determine whether your relationships remain shackled to fantasy or finally soar into their destined reality.